By the fourth Sunday of July, the people who once treated me like their personal cash machine were begging a utility clerk to keep the power on. I am Avery Brooks, 32 years old, finance director at a private equity outfit overlooking the Charles. You would think a woman who models risk for a living could spot betrayal a mile away. I missed it because it wore my mother's smile. What my family never grasped is that spreadsheets teach you rhythm. When the numbers stop dancing in time, you sense it in your bones and you choreograph the comeback. If you have ever felt trapped between duty and dignity, type your city in the comments so I know where you are listening from. We can swap survival notes later. Now, let me rewind quickly. Cleanly, so you understand why July mattered. I clear about $520,000 a year. But my real office was the family group chat. Mom's daily urgent texts. Dad's surprise favor calls. Chloe's endless please resend emojis. Each ping felt like a tiny IOU someone else wrote on my soul. 3 breadcrumbs from those days still rattle in my pocket. First, a Venmo note from Mom that read Lifesaver, attached to a payment I never sent. Second, a white FedEx envelope stamped urgent that I parked on my coffee table and ignored for weeks. Something inside it ticked louder than any bomb. Third, a voice memo from Chloe that I saved, but never played, because I was sprinting between back-to-back board meetings. I kept the hints. I kept moving. Here's the family snapshot you need. I was the responsible child. The fixer. Julia Child with a calculator. Chloe, my little sister, was the golden one, an Instagram wellness guru who floated through life on hashtags and other people's money. Mom and Dad cheered her every selfie like it was a Nobel lecture. My role. Pay the bills nobody else wanted to face. Mortgage. That was me. Tesla. Also me. Chloe's $200,000 MBA that she treated like a lifestyle accessory. Definitely me. Every month I wired another chunk of my future into their present and called it love. Friends asked why I never pushed back. I told them family was a long game. What I left out was that I feared the silence more than the cost. But the numbers. They felt the shift first. Venmo memos that didn't match my balance. A credit alert I assumed was spam. The envelope that hummed whenever I passed it, as if paper could have a heartbeat. And still, I kept the peace until the rooftop baby shower, until the microphone in Mom's hand, until the insult that went live to 12,000 strangers. That, listener, is a story for the next chapter. Just know that while they laughed under fairy lights, I felt the root of something snap quiet. Final? Freeing. Stick with me. In the next few minutes, you will see exactly how a dutiful daughter turns data into vengeance and why kindness, once weaponized, can cut deeper than any blade. Looking back now, I can date the habit of rescuing my family to one raw December morning in freshman year. My scholarship check was barely warm in my palm when Mom called. Whisper panicked about a bounced utility bill. I skipped lunch for a week, wired the money, and told myself it was a one-time gift. It never was. Graduation flipped the pattern into overdrive. I landed my first analyst role 80-hour weeks. Midnight spreadsheets. Living on diner coffee, and Dad celebrated by signing a mortgage that his pension could not cover. He phoned me that night, voice thick with pride and expectation. $8,000 a month. Kiddo. Short term. Just until the market turns. The market never turns as fast as a parent can say, please. Year 1. I mailed those checks with a smile. Year 2. I set up an auto draft so I would not see the money leave. By year 3, the payments blended into background noise. Like traffic outside an open window, constant. Irritating, but ignorable if you focus hard enough on something else. Then came the Tesla. Midnight blue. Gull-wing doors. $140,000 of status parked under their maple tree. Dad argued it was green, and therefore practically a gift to the planet. The bank declined his loan. My credit score sang soprano. So the paperwork landed on my desk with a sticky note that read, "Only until we refinance. Gullwing promises fly away fast." Chloe's masterpiece followed a glossy MBA priced at $200,000, packaged as an investment in the family's future. She texted, "Think of it as venture capital. Sis?" I pictured my savings account drained like a champagne flute after midnight and hit transfer anyway. Responsibility is muscle memory. You flex it even when it hurts. Holidays stitched those transactions into family lore. Thanksgiving. I fought airport lines to deliver a suitcase of specialty groceries. Chloe breezed in hours late, live-streamed the spread, and tagged a sponsor while Mom scolded me for buying the wrong brand of mustard. New Year's Eve. A frantic group chat ping at 10 p.m. Chloe's tuition portal was closing at midnight. Could I reroute $27,000 before the ball dropped? I was at a rooftop party watching fireworks. I ducked into a stairwell, clicked through security prompts, and rang in the year with a confirmation code instead of a kiss. Father's Day. I surprised Dad with 2 field-level seats at Fenway. Chloe floated through the gate last minute, flashing that influencer grin. Dad handed her my extra ticket so she could network for her brand. I spent 9 innings on a metal bench behind the bullpen, telling myself the view was fine. Little slights on replay carved deep canyons. Mom praised my reliability the way coaches praise water carriers, vital but forgettable. Chloe soaked in spotlights I financed, her captions dripping with gratitude for family support. She never spelled my name wrong, though. Algorithm reach loves proper tags. I clung to logic to dull the sting. My salary could handle the weight. I did not have kids yet. Taxes would sort it out. Besides, parents' age, this was repayment for warm meals and bedtime stories. But formulas cracked when the breadcrumbs piled up. The Venmo note, the FedEx envelope pulsing on my coffee table, a credit monitor email claiming a new personal loan with my social. I blamed holiday fraud season, poured another glass of Cabernet, and reopened spreadsheets that felt safer than feelings. Still, in quiet moments, a question whispered, if love costs this much, why does the receipt print only my name? Moments stacked into months. Months blurred into 3 relentless years. By the time the rooftop baby shower invitation arrived, glossy cardstock. Gold Leaf, my bank, had processed over 300 mortgage drafts, 36 Tesla payments, and countless urgent transfers dressed as emergencies. The numbers were loud, but habit hummed louder. Then July hit, blistering and bright. I told myself one more gift, one more favor, one more sacrificed weekend, and balance would return. Instead, I walked into that Ritz-Carlton rooftop, tasted the salt of my own disappointment, and watched my family live stream a punchline that bore my bank routing number. That punchline snapped the habit clean, yet the fracture felt silent to everyone except me. They kept laughing under those fairy lights, unaware the budget for their indulgence had already hit its limit. Stay with me. In the next part, you will see how a single public insult blew the lid off every secret ledger, and how the breadcrumbs I ignored finally spelled betrayal in letters too large to miss. The rooftop shimmered with fairy lights, but the air tasted like pennies metallic, warning me a storm was forming inside the champagne sparkle. Chloe floated from table to table in a blush pink maternity dress, camera locked on selfie mode, narrating every cupcake swirl to her followers. Somewhere behind the catering station, a jazz trio tried to compete with the squeal of phone notifications. They were losing. I stood near the edge, clutching a mocktail I did not want, scanning the skyline for calm. When Mom tapped the mic, everyone, a round of applause for the woman who makes dreams happen. Our very own family sponsor. Avery. Spotlights from rented ring lights spun until they pinned me hotter than the July sun. I raised my glass out of habit, smiled like a stock photo, and prayed no one noticed my pulse hammering in my neck. Behind the phones, 12,000 live viewers cheered an inside joke I had never agreed to star in. Mini Hook, what they did not see was Harper's text blinking at that exact second. Rumor alert. Internal chat says Avery under SEC review. You okay? I excused myself to the service corridor, phone trembling in my grip. A fake compliance rumor could end my license faster than any crime. While my brain drafted worst-case spreadsheets, another notification popped a credit monitor ping. New hard inquiry for personal loan. Amount, $50,000. Applicant, Avery Brooks. I had applied for nothing. Harper appeared beside me. Trade show smile gone. I heard Chloe bragging the baby's nursery will be sustainably sponsored. Does that involve your signature? Her tone said she already knew the answer. I laughed. Hollow. No worries. Probably a data glitch. The words tasted like rust. Back in the party, Dad clinked a spoon against a glass. Quick toast, he announced. Family is about lifting each other. Chloe, your mother and I are grateful Avery believes that. Applause rolled. Somewhere, a drone camera whirred, archiving my humiliation for future highlight reels. Another breadcrumb. Chloe slipped me a velvet envelope marked emergency. Inside, a printed invoice from an event planner. Balance due, $33,000. Scrawled across the top in gold pen. Sis, can you float this until brand deal clears? Love you. No, please. No thanks, just assumption. I pocketed the envelope and felt the habit finally groan under its own weight. The party ended with glitter bombs and choreographed confetti. I helped loaders pack decor, while Chloe live-streamed post-event gratitude. Mom hugged me goodbye with a whisper. Remember, the mortgage comes out Monday. You're an angel. I nodded, but something inside me stepped back, folded its arms, and watched. That night I drove to my childhood home, needing silence to think. The Tesla technically mine glowed under the porch lights. I passed Dad's study and caught voices. The door was half closed. Their words slipped through like smoke. Mom, the anonymous tip hits first thing. She'll be too busy protecting her license to ask questions. Chloe, great. Then we submit the loan paperwork. Dad, timing is everything. Ladies, we keep her useful. Useful. The syllables cracked. Something fossilized in me. I recorded the next sentences on my phone, proof I never wanted but suddenly needed. Mini Hook, their scheme had a rhythm. Undermine. Guilt. Collect. Once I heard it out loud. The sheet music of the past 3 years rewrote itself in neon. I drove back to Boston at 2 a.m, headlights carving tunnels through mist. On the passenger seat, the urgent FedEx envelope finally felt heavier than fear. I tore it open at a red light. Inside, loan documents bearing my forged signature. Interest rate north of 15%. Cosigner lines filled by my parents. Attached was a sticky note. Dad's handwriting. Sign the final page when convenient. Bank needs originals. Convenient. Sure. By sunrise, I was sitting on my balcony. Coffee gone cold. Every breadcrumb lined up like dominoes. The fake Venmo payment. The armored envelope. The phantom credit inquiry. The rooftop public shaming. The overheard conspiracy. The pattern was not random. It was choreography. And I had been the bankroll for every beat. I stared at the city waking below and felt quiet rage settle into something sharper strategy. The numbers finally made sense. And numbers, when cornered, always show you the exit. Stay tuned. In the next part, you will see how surface betrayal unmasked a deeper, decades-long conspiracy, and how the calmest decision of my life began with 3 deep breaths and a single line of code. I took those 3 breaths at dawn, slow enough to feel the scratch of cool air against my lungs, steady enough to keep rage from steering the wheel. Then I opened my laptop and typed 1 line of code that scraped every transaction touching my name for the past 36 months. While the script crawled through banking APIs, Boston stretched awake below delivery trucks groaning, gulls arguing over the river, the kind of ordinary noise that makes extraordinary betrayal feel even louder. Surface betrayal first. The SEC portal logs were public once you knew where to click. There it was, a whistleblower complaint stamped 2 weeks earlier, accusing me of tipping merger intel at a bar in the seaport. The complainant field read anonymous, but the attached phone number matched Mom's old Verizon line, the one she swore she had canceled years ago. She had not. She had repurposed it for sabotage. Deeper conspiracy next. The data scrape finished with a soft alert. Across 3 banks. My Social Security number co-signed 2 personal loans, opened 1 line of credit, and guaranteed a cash-out refi on the Brookline house. Total liability, just north of $400,000. Every document carried a digital signature that traced back to the family desktop, the same machine Dad used for Sunday crossword puzzles. He had clicked agree, probably between clues for 8-letter betrayals. The pattern clicked like tumblers in a safe. Every time my salary climbed, a new emergency appeared. Promotion to senior analyst. That was the mortgage. Bonus from restructuring work. Hello. Tesla. Title bump to director. Salary crossing $500,000. Chloe's MBA application sped through. I thought coincidence. They thought algorithm. I pushed back from the desk, heart thudding in my ears. Stepped onto the balcony. The Charles looked glass flat, but I knew those currents, surface calm, hidden pull. Sunlight bounced off the water so bright, it burned my retinas. And for 1 dizzy second, the whole skyline blurred. As if Boston itself refused to watch what happened next. Sensory overload grounded me. I focused on details. The metal rail warming under sunrise. The faint mocha smell from the cafe downstairs. The buzz of my phone where Harper's name flashed again. Need anything? I'm on standby. That single sentence, someone asking what I needed, not what I could provide, snapped the moment into crystal focus. I walked back inside. Printed every forged page, every loan schedule, every insider trading accusation, piled them on the kitchen island like a crooked tower. Then I replayed the voice memo I had ignored for weeks. Chloe's voice. Syrup sweet. Hey sis. Quick update. Brand deal might be delayed. So we're gonna file that loan under your name, just to keep things moving. You'll sign later. Right? Love you bunches. She ended with a giggle that no longer sounded carefree. It sounded loaded. One more breadcrumb landed a notification that the Tesla's insurance premium had been downgraded to the minimum. Dad must have clicked the cheaper option. Forgetting the car still rolled under my liability umbrella. Their shortcut was my exposure. The tower of papers leaned, threatening collapse. I did not touch it. Instead, I opened a fresh notebook and drew 2 columns. Left side, every action they had taken. Right side, every lever I controlled. Licenses, credit lines, title ownerships, access to liquidity. The right column stretched twice as long as the left. Power, once mapped, feels lighter than anger. I circled 3 entries in red. Tesla title, mortgage autopay, Series 65 license. Those would be my opening moves. Above the columns, I wrote a single sentence in block letters. Kindness is a loan. Collect the interest. Outside, the city sounded the same. But inside, the weather shifted. The responsible daughter had retired. In her place stood the architect of consequences. Stay with me. Next, you will witness how preparation beats panic, how evidence grows teeth, and how a family that mistook loyalty for weakness learned the true cost of compound betrayal. Calm beats chaos. Every single market cycle. So I started with silence. No warning texts. No late-night confrontations. No dramatic kitchen showdowns. Instead, a calendar block titled Operation Ledger popped onto my phone at 8 a.m. sharp. Step 1. Secure the data. Harper met me in the office archive room. Fluorescent lights humming overhead. We cloned my phone. Exported 3 years of group chat history. Then pulled security camera footage from my parents' driveway showing Dad behind the wheel of the Tesla he swore he never drove. Evidence grows teeth when the metadata is clean. Next, we walked 2 blocks to Ashworth and Bell, a white shoe law firm that bills by the heartbeat. I laid the forged loan papers across a mahogany table. Senior partner Margaret Bell read every page, lifted an eyebrow, and said, "Identity theft, wire fraud, elder abuse if your parents are over 60. That sticks?" Her calm felt like a weighted blanket. She opened a leather pad and began drafting demand letters. Retaliation had just hired counsel. Step 2, cut the cash flow. Back in my apartment, I logged into payroll and killed the mortgage auto draft. $8,000 a month now stayed home. Then I hit the Tesla finance portal and scheduled a payment halt. 2 missed drafts would trigger repossession under the contract's fine print. Dad never read the fine print. A quick swipe through Experian and TransUnion froze every line linked to my social. New credit. Denied. Existing balances. Flagged. I pictured Chloe's face when her emergency card got declined at a brunch shoot. Small preview of coming attractions. Step 3. Reclaim the narrative. I drafted a LinkedIn article titled Guardrails. Why even finance professionals can miss fraud at home. No names. Just screenshots with identifying details blurred. I scheduled it for Monday at 9 a.m., prime scroll time for recruiters and compliance officers. A polite warning to the industry wrapped in thought leadership ribbon. That evening, Eli, my engineer friend, swung by with a gadget that looked like a car key fob. GPS tagger, he said. We slipped it under the Tesla's bumper. When the repo order hit, the driver would find the car in minutes, not hours. Efficiency is a love language. Step 4, alert the regulators. Margaret filed an official affidavit with the SEC, attaching proof the insider trading tip was manufactured. She CC'd the Commission's Inspector General and my firm's Chief Legal Officer. The moment that email left her outbox, the rumor mill's teeth turned to dust. Step 5, notify the bank. I scheduled a video call with Brookline Savings. Camera on. Suit jacket crisp. The co-signer's signature is forged, I said, sliding digital evidence into the chat. The banker's face paled. Within 48 hours, the loan status flipped to fraud investigation. Freezing the disbursement my parents were counting on for a kitchen remodel they had already posted about on Facebook. The beauty of quiet moves is that no one feels the quake until the floor cracks. By Friday, a domino line was trembling. Chloe texted, "Weird. Card declined. Can you check?" I stared at the bubble until it faded, then muted the thread. Saturday morning, Dad emailed a PDF labeled urgent. I forwarded it to Margaret unopened. Boundaries enforced by counsel speak louder than daughterly sighs. Late Sunday night, Harper and I sat on my balcony, Boston glittering below, and reviewed the checklist. Evidence archive check. Cash spigot shut check. Legal shields raised check. Narrative positioned, check. One item remained. Repossession logistics. I tapped the contractor's number and confirmed the dawn pickup window. The driver laughed. Tesla with gull-wing doors. People film those every time. Perfect. Viral currency deposits itself. I ended the call. Exhaled. And noticed the city felt quieter. As if some background hum had finally powered down. Retaliation. When systematic. Sounds like relief. Stay close. In the next part, you will watch the dominoes fall. In real time, cars hauled away. Rumors boomeranged. And a family that bet on silence, confronted by an audience of millions. Justice is loading. You'll hear the engine start in just a moment. Dawn broke clear and sharp. The kind of pale light that makes every surface look honest. At 5:30, the repo truck rumbled onto my parents' street. Eli's GPS ping led the driver straight to the midnight blue Tesla. Hydraulic arms hugged the wheels. The car rose like an unwilling trophy. Dad burst from the port in slippers, shouting about misunderstandings. The driver, body cam rolling, recited the contract clause that Dad had signed but never read. Ring doorbells up and down the block captured the scene. One neighbor stitched the footage into a TikTok titled, "When your green status symbol goes back to the lender." By breakfast, 500,000 views. By lunch, 2 million. Screenshots of Dad's red face became reaction memes. 9 o'clock on the dot, my LinkedIn essay went live. People love a Monday morning cautionary tale, especially when framed as professional insight. Within an hour, the post trended under financial ethics. Colleagues messaged support. Recruiters requested coffee meetings. More important, compliance teams across the city forwarded the article as required reading. Chloe's wellness brand managers saw it too. They scrolled from my thoughtful headline down to the blurred screenshots timestamps matching her livestream brag. By noon, they had emailed termination clauses to her influencer inbox. Sponsors vanished like mist under sun. That same afternoon, the SEC reply landed in Margaret's inbox. No wrongdoing found. Anonymous tip lacks merit. Case closed. She forwarded the letter to my firm's CEO with one line. Thank you for your attention. 40 minutes later, Human Resources called me upstairs. The board had voted to promote me to Chief Financial Officer, effective immediately. They valued resilience under pressure. I signed the offer, then stepped into a restroom stall and let out a silent laugh that shook my shoulders but never broke the quiet. Across town, a different letter arrived at the Brookline house. The bank's fraud unit froze the cash-out refinance. 30 days to verify signatures or face foreclosure. Mom posted a now-deleted Facebook rant about heartless institutions. Commenters were less sympathetic than she expected. Public opinion had already met the TikTok clip. By midweek, Experian updated my parents' score from a glossy 780 to a brittle 520. Credit card autopays bounced. Late fees stacked like poker chips they could not cash in. Chloe tagged me in a frantic text. Sis, can we talk? I let the bubble fade. Silence is expensive currency. I spent it wisely. Thursday evening, they tried a new tactic apology by ambush. I pulled into my condo parking and found all three waiting at the lobby entrance. Faces rehearsed for sympathy. Ring's motion sensor lit up, streaming the scene to my cloud. Mom stepped forward, voice trembling. We made mistakes, but family fixes things together. I kept my tone steady. Family doesn't forge signatures, Dad added. We were desperate. Desperation, I said, doesn't sign a loan at 15%. Greed does. Chloe reached for my arm. Harper, who had driven me home, called out from behind. Touch her again, and this becomes deposition footage. The hand froze midair. That was the moment police cruisers pulled curbside. Margaret's trespass paperwork had processed faster than small-town gossip. Officers served the notice with quiet efficiency. Cameras captured flashing blue lights, reflecting off my parents' downturned faces. The clip went viral overnight. Boomers learn boundaries in 4K. Mini-hook justice delivered publicly teaches longer than private scolding. The weekend that followed felt hushed, as if the entire city inhaled. Emails trickled in from distant cousins, former babysitters, college roommates, each apologizing for laughing along with Chloe's rooftop joke. I answered none of them. Forgiveness might come someday, but it would arrive on my terms, not theirs. Monday morning. One final domino toppled. Brookline Savings confirmed fraud, voided the refinance, and notified state regulators. The house my parents could barely afford now sat on a 30-day countdown clock. Mom left a voicemail soaked in tears, describing auction fears and ruined reputations. I forwarded it to Margaret. Emotional blackmail belongs in evidence folders, not in my head. Yet through all of it, I kept my voice steady at work, my stride even on evening jogs, my coffee orders unchanged. Dignity is louder than shouting. Immediate equilibrium formed quicker than I expected. My monthly budget showed an $8,000 surplus now that the mortgage draft was gone. My phone, once a siren of family crises, lay silent long enough that I missed its vibration. Peace, it turns out, is disorienting at first. Still, I marked one more task, return the GPS tracker to Eli with a thank you note. He texted back a laughing emoji and a link. The original Tesla repo video had crossed 3.5 million views. Under it, a comment read, "ATM girl finally cashed out." I closed the app, not in anger, but with the quiet satisfaction of someone who knows the ledger balances. Stay with me for the final chapter. You will see how fresh beginnings take root, how chosen family fills the vacancies blood left behind, and why boundaries, once drawn in ink, bloom into freedom. One full turn of the calendar. 12 quiet months that felt like someone finally lifted a thumb off my windpipe. I start most Sundays the same way now. Bare feet on a cedar deck, steam curling off a coffee mug, sunrise spilling over Lake Champlain like molten copper. Vermont was a whim at first, an impulse Zillow search on a sleepless night. But the moment I saw the cottage, I knew peace would echo off its stone chimney. I paid cash. Of course. The line item that once read mortgage assistance now reads lake house equity. Inside, Harper is flipping blueberry pancakes, while Eli programs a playlist that somehow marries jazz with 90s R&B. Julia from next door has her twins chasing soap bubbles across the yard. Laughter rolls through the open windows, replacing alarms that used to announce family emergencies. These people are not bound to me by blood. Yet every one of them showed up when the storm hit. That is the thing about chosen family. They arrive uninvited, stay unconditionally, and never hand you an invoice. I still work, finance. Chief Financial Officer looks decent on a business card, but the panic is gone. My Series 65 license hangs framed behind my desk like a battle banner. Sometimes I catch myself staring at it, not for pride, but as proof that resilience can wear a tailored suit. Clients ask how I stay steady in volatile markets. I smile and think, survive a repo scandal starring your own parents. And the Dow feels like a calm lake. The old phone number Mom once flooded with urgent pings now filters directly to voicemail. I let the messages stack until the server auto-deletes them. Grief comes in flashes, seeing a Tesla on the interstate, hearing a crowd cheer at Fenway. But grief is a teacher. And I take neat notes. Lesson 1. Boundaries are not punishments. They are property lines where respect pays rent. Lesson 2. Kindness is only virtuous when it is voluntary. Lesson 3. Silence, when chosen, Sings louder than any apology demanded. Mini hook, whenever doubt nudges. I open a spreadsheet titled Freedom. Column A lists every dollar I no longer surrender. Column B tracks hours reclaimed from crisis calls. Column C calculates interest those hours earn when invested in books, hikes, and unhurried dinners. The totals rise like a tide. Proof that peace, too, compounds. Before I close, a question for you, listener. Have you ever had to choose peace over a relationship that once felt non-negotiable? If your answer even flirts with yes, drop a note in the comments, just your city, and a single word that captures the moment you said enough. I read every story. They remind me the map of courage has many roads. If this journey carried you, even a little, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I share true stories where dignity wins, justice lands, and the good guys keep the house keys. Until next time, I'm Avery Brooks, sipping coffee on a dock that nobody else is billing me for. And I hope your next chapter writes itself in the language of freedom.